Before you begin to think, before your mind reaches for familiar noise, allow yourself to slow down, not as effort, not as discipline, but as a sense of returning. Imagine for a moment that silence is not absence, but presence. Not empty, but full. As though everything unnecessary has stepped aside to make room for something older than thought. You may notice the weight of your own breathing now, not as mechanical motion, but as evidence of life continuing quietly within you. You breathe in and out. Every breath a reminder that you are still here. Now imagine the world around you beginning to soften. Edges lose their sharpness. Sound becomes distant. Time no longer feels like something that pushes forward, but something that opens inward. And within that opening, you find yourself standing at the edge of a garden. You are not rushed here. The ground beneath your feet is uneven, not threatening, but ancient. Soil softened by years you cannot measure. Stone hidden beneath roots that seem to move like slow thoughts beneath the earth. The air is different here. Not fresher, not heavier, but aware, as though it recognizes you have arrived. Above you, olive trees rise into the night. Their branches do not simply move in the wind, they seem to remember movement. Leaves shimmer faintly beneath a sky too vast to fully understand, and the air carries the faint scent of olive trees. Not sharp, not overwhelming, but soft, ancient, earthy. A fragrance warmed by stone and night air, as though the garden itself has been breathing for centuries, and each quiet movement of the breeze carries it gently toward you. The scent of crushing leaves, aged wood, oil hidden deep within fruit waiting to be pressed. And there is something strangely human about it. Something that feels both peaceful and heavy with meaning, because this is a garden of olives, and olives do not release their oil without pressure. Perhaps this is why this place feels so sacred, for here, in the stillness of Gethsemane, the weight of surrender presses deeply enough for something eternal to be revealed. And something beneath the fragrance of oil and earth, the night waits in silence for the sun to pray. There is sound here, but not the kind that demands attention, more like the memory of sound. A rustle, a distant breath, the faint shift of something unseen adjusting itself to presence. And then you sense it. Not fear, not yet, but a feeling of weight. A kind of sacred pressure in the atmosphere, as though reality itself has become aware that something irreversible is unfolding. You are not alone here. Figures move quietly ahead. Men who have walked closely with him, yet now feel strangely far away. Not abandoned, not rejected, but human. Heavy with sleep that does not feel ordinary. It feels like resistance to awareness itself, as though the soul sometimes tries to protect itself by becoming less awake than it should be. And he speaks to them. His voice is not raised. It does not need to be. Sit here while I go over there and pray. And he takes Peter, James and John with him, and as they walk, the distance between them feels larger than footsteps can measure, because something in him is stepping into a place they cannot yet follow. And he begins to be sorrowful and troubled. He says, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." These are not distant words. They are the first time sorrow is spoken with full honesty, without disguise. And he moves further into the garden, far enough that even companionship becomes silence. Not loneliness, but separation. A space where something must be carried alone. The air here feels different again, heavier still, as though the moment itself has thickened around him. And then he falls. Not collapsing in defeat, but lowering himself into the full weight of what is known, face to the ground, earth receiving the pressure of what heaven has allowed, and he prays, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me." There is no theatricality here, only truth. The truth of will encountered what it cannot naturally embrace. And in this moment, something happened that words struggle to hold. The body itself begins to reveal the depth of struggle within. His sweat becomes like drops of blood falling to the ground. This is not merely suffering. It is the collision of human limitation with divine purpose, where even the body participates in the weight of obedience. And yet, he is not alone, for even in unseen ways, strength is given, not to remove the cup, but to endure it. And something changes, not the circumstances, not the path ahead, but the alignment of the will within him. And he speaks again, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." This is the center of everything here. Not surrender as loss, but surrender as union, where resistance becomes trust, where fear becomes obedience, where the human will does not disappear, but rests within something greater than itself. And he returns and finds them sleeping, not in betrayal, not in malice, but in limitation. Their bodies have done what bodies often do under unseen pressure. They have closed. And he speaks gently. Could you not keep watch with me for 1 hour? There is no anger in him, only recognition. That awareness is heavy and not always carried easily by human strength. And again, he leaves them, and again, he prays, and again, he returns, and again, they sleep. The pattern is not repetition for its own sake. It is revelation. That endurance is often circular, not linear. That surrender is not a single moment, but a return. And now, the night begins to move toward its appointed unfolding, and he arises, not as one escaping the garden, but as one who has completed its deepest moment. And he walks back toward them, and still they sleep. Not as failure, but as humanity in its fragility. And something in this moment is important. He does not reject them. He does not abandon them. He does not demand they become what they are not yet able to be. He simply continues forward, with his love intact. And now, you are not outside this moment, you are within its echo. Because Gethsemane is not only remembered in Scripture, it is experienced in everyday life where will meets surrender. There will be nights in your own journey where clarity is absent, where the future feels heavy, where the path forward is not obvious. And in these moments, you will not be asked to understand everything, only to remain open. There is a kind of strength that does not come from control, but from trust. From the willingness to say, even through uncertainty, not my will, but yours. So if you are weary, return. If you are uncertain, return. If you feel distant, return. Not as one who has succeeded, but as one who is willing to be held. For the Father does not call you through performance. He calls you through love. And that love does not weaken in your struggle. It remains steady, present, unmoved by your fear. So lay it down, not as defeat, but as trust, and walk forward, not alone, but held.